Good morning, you're joining me on a foggy morning in Derbyshire, and today I want to talk about the ID Buzz. Now, this ID Buzz I've had since May 23. I had a Model X before, Tesla Model X. We swapped it for this, and I wanted to give you an overview of how it's been for the last 18 months, what I've liked about it and what I don't like about it. And today I'm actually going to be changing this car due to personal circumstances. Where we used to live was like a town, but we've just recently moved out into the middle of nowhere, and I found that this car isn't the best vehicle for being out in the middle of nowhere. We desperately need something with more ground clearance, with four-wheel drive, due to the weather and other potential things. But this car, anyway, we've had it for say 18 months. I've done about 8,000 to 9,000 miles in it. It's been a great car. It's been reliable. It's very car-like to drive. It's very smooth. It's very easy to drive. You've got a great seating position, sit nice and high, good view of the road, good visibility. It's really a pleasant vehicle. And even though if you look at the numbers, the 0 to 60 time isn't crazy. It's got torque there whenever you need it. If you want to overtake or anything like that, it doesn't feel like a slow vehicle. Now, mostly 90% or more of my trips are short trips, 10 miles, 20 miles. But I have taken it further. Twice I've taken it from the middle of the UK here to the south coast. We've been camping with it. I actually attached a tent to the vehicle and used the vehicle like a camper. Also went to the Lake District in it. And more recently we've used it on a trip to Disneyland Paris. This was a really fairly straightforward trip, no problems with charging. We charged at the tunnel, went underneath the sea, charged in France. The infrastructure in France is far better than in the UK. Just about every service station has electric chargers and fast ones, and also the signage on the road tells you when the next charger is, how far it is to the next ones, and I found that experience far better than UK charging, which is often hit and miss. Anyway, about the car itself, there's things I really love about it, and there's a few things which are minor, to be fair, but which are annoying. I would think the biggest gripe I've got with this vehicle, I mean, we've got two small kids, and in the back the space to access to get the kids in and out, ISOFIX seats and all that kind of stuff is brilliant. I mean, with the sliding doors you've got a massive access point. However, in the back, especially in the summer, there's the rear windows do not open, which I know has been fixed in the 7-seat version that's come out recently to some extent. And also there's no rear ventilation, there's no vents. So when it does get hot on a summer's day, you're reliant on air circulation from the front of the vehicle, which isn't ideal. And I know this also is fixed in the 7-seater because they've got air vents back up here somewhere. So that's one of my main gripes with this car, really, is that. There's a few other little niggly things, like the control panel here for the lights. You can't really see it, it's views hidden by the steering wheel. So when you are on, say, not your main beam but your side lights, the instrument cluster doesn't show you got your side lights on, so you sort of got to reach around and look if the lights are on this panel, which strange decision, but that's what it is. Another thing which annoys me a little bit is the climate controls. When I switch on the car, the heated steering wheel comes on, and that's my choice. But to get to it, to switch it off, because sometimes I forget because it takes a while to warm up, and then suddenly your steering wheel's hot. And the controls to get to it are a little bit fidgety because you have to go to your climate control, and then you have to make sure you're in the normal one, the classic, rather than the smart. Otherwise you can't even see the heated steering wheel controller. But it's not a big thing, it's just something you get used to. Okay, on to the positives. The car's really comfortable. I love these captain's chairs with the armrests. Really nice on a long journey. I've had no issues at all with the infotainment. It's been fine. Obviously, I use Apple CarPlay most of the time, so I'm not using the interface for much, because once you've got it set up, you don't really go in there very often. There's stalks on the steering wheel for your indicators and for your windscreen wipers, so that's a positive. Overall, the car is pretty quiet, particularly at lower speeds. There is quite a bit of road noise from the tyres, not so much from the aerodynamics. It's very, it doesn't whistle or anything like that. The quietness of it is good. Now, this model is the first edition, the first one that came out in the UK, and it's got some extra things which you don't normally get in ID Buzz as standard, like it's got an electric tow bar which folds out, it's got 21-inch wheels. One of the things that's missing though compared to the newer Buzzers is the shelf in the back. I don't know what they call it, it's got a name, but the shelf in the back lifts the floor up to the same height as the seats, because when you fold down these rear seats, there's a gap, there's a difference between, you haven't got a flat floor basically. So nowadays they come with this like little shelf, which this one didn't come with. But I improvised a solution for that, because we wanted to use it for sleeping in. Rather than buying the Volkswagen one, which was a few £100s, and also it was quite fidgety to take in and out, I put something together for basic next to nothing, and it was great. The car's got the ID lights, which are the matrix lights, and I've never had them before in a car, and they really are fantastic lights. Not just the brightness of them, but the fact that they're like automatic, because they don't dip like a normal car does. What happens is that they sort of cut out a black hole where they detect cars in front of them. Don't know how it works, it's magical, but they literally cut out a pattern of the other cars, so you get a lot more light around the other cars, so you can see more, and they don't interfere with the other car lights, and that's a fantastic thing. And if that's ever an option for whatever car you're buying, then I think having the matrix headlights is so cool. The driver's assist functions on this car are limited, to be fair. It will sort of keep you in lane, and obviously it's got adaptive cruise, so it will keep you behind a car to set speed, but it isn't going to be driving itself anytime soon. Now, the colour of the seats in this particular model are orange and white, and they look fantastic. Obviously they're not as child friendly as black leather ones, and they're not as easy to clean, but this one was coated with that protectant, so it's not a big issue. And obviously my kids are pretty young, and if they're a bit older, then they're not going to be spilling crisps and stuff everywhere. So what else can I tell you about the ID Buzz? Well, while I've had it, I think we've averaged about 3 miles per kilowatt hour, which is pretty reasonable for a car of this size and shape and weight. My Model X, which I had before, I only used to get about 2.2 miles per kilowatt hour, and that was permanent four-wheel drive, so that does make obviously some difference to efficiency, but still I've been very pleased with the efficiency of this, considering let's say its size, and it's been such a useful vehicle. During the time while I've had this vehicle, we have moved house, we have moved a business, so we've used it for camping, we've travelled all over in it, and it's a really practical vehicle for that. And obviously we run out to our business, so it's very tax efficient, and really the only reason I'm swapping for the Amarok is because of where we've moved to, and that chance of, when the weather's bad, when there's snow, when there's rain, there's flooding, there's instance, and I need the ability to be able to get out of the house. Literally, when it snowed last week, because obviously the Buzzer's rear-wheel drive, we couldn't move from Tuesday till Sunday when I could actually get the car out of the drive, and it wasn't a big issue to us. But what if we had to get to the hospital? What if you had to get to the airport? What if you had to do something? Then it's just a little bit too constricting. But in the previous months before that, the car's never been an issue, never had a concern about range or anything like that, and it's been, just a really good vehicle. If you're in the market for a second-hand Buzz, I would definitely recommend one. I think it's a really flexible, fantastic vehicle, particularly for a family, or if you've got a business and you want to be able to carry stuff in the back, perhaps you go to trade shows or something like that. With the seats down, it's a really big space. So it's comfortable, it's quiet, it's quick. I have no regrets in buying it, and I wouldn't be swapping it if it wasn't for the aforementioned facts. And I think the 7-seater also improves on that. I think with the ventilation in the back, with the full glass roof, with obviously the ability to have a 7-seat version. Although I don't find the 7-seat one personally as quite as attractive. It just looks a little bit more stretched, and I don't think it's quite as cute, but that's personal choice. Overall, I've really enjoyed the time I've had with this vehicle, and I have no regrets in buying it. And yes, in the future, if my circumstances change, I would definitely have another one. The biggest problem with this vehicle, and to be honest, any more expensive electric car, or even any electric car at the moment, is that people don't necessarily want to buy second hand. I can understand that. This wasn't new when I bought it. It was a few months old, so that's not really a big issue. But when you buy one that's 3 or 4 years old, you want to be sure that the battery's okay, which can be checked by your dealer. But I think there's lots of scare stories out there that in 10 years are going to be rubbish, but I think we've seen so many cars now on YouTube where they've done hundreds of thousands of miles, and they're 10 plus years old and they're still going. And from this point onwards, batteries, technology, efficiency, they're just going to keep getting better and better. So I don't think there should be a big fear of electric vehicles. I say they're not for everybody. If you don't have the ability to charge, if you don't have a drive, or you don't have ability to charge at home, then it's a much more expensive proposition. But if you can sign up with Octopus and get their car tariff, and it's 7p per unit at night, then it's really a no-brainer if it's about costs of running and owning the vehicle. I hope you find this video useful if you're thinking about buying an ID Buzz. And I certainly would encourage you to test drive one and see if it's good for you. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.